In our last video, we talked about saying sorry and not actually meaning it. And so we went through a path for how to do that. And really the bottom line is it comes down to being the strongest energy in the room, because then you won't feel the need to apologize. And so how do we do that? How do we actually be the strongest energy in the room? I'm going to channel loving light and hear what they have to say to guide us in this process. We are so pleased that you have called upon us today. And the theme of self-approval for September is a brilliant place to start, because to approve of oneself is to align to the light. And when you align to the light, you actually are becoming the strongest energy in the room. And when you do this, it's not about conquer or force or strength in order to overcome or overpower another, but instead to remind each other that we all are the light. The light within you is the light within me. And the light that you seek is the light that you are, that your essence is, that you came here to be. And so what we want to say to you to become the strongest energy in the room, it's about not having a leaky or porous energy field. Many times the way that people get around this is they do what they call boundary setting. And they'll set a boundary as a means to overcome the obstacle of a porous energy field. And while that can work, it is a Band-Aid. It is a Band-Aid protecting a wound. And yes, that is brilliant because it can allow the wound to heal. And so the boundary can be a way for, in the meantime, while your body is healing, while your energy field is healing or re-realizing its own greater wholeness, the boundary can create an obstacle or other things so that you can be more secure feeling. But the boundary, it's a middle step. It's a stepping stone. It's like training wheels on your bike. And that is a fine way to begin. Eventually, you'll get to the place where you don't need boundaries, because you'll have unporous, made whole, smoothed out, regenerated your energy field in such a way, with such strength, that there is no weak link. And so it's not that one time you'll fix your energy field and then you'll never need to focus on it again. Like any muscle, we need to exercise it. And so what we have to share with you today is the way to start is with boundaries. The way to be the strongest energy in the room is to give yourself boundaries so that you give yourself the space to heal. Often in 12-step programs, they don't ask the person who's trying to overcome some sort of substance they no longer want to surround themselves in an environment filled with that substance to show themselves how strong they are. No. If you're overeating, you get the junk food that you crave out of the house. If you're a smoker, you don't go past the drugstore where you used to buy your cigarettes. You take an alternate route home. If you're a drinker, you don't keep the alcohol in the house. You create an environment, a boundary, to allow yourself to heal, as in to re-strengthen, re-fortify, remember the wholeness that you are in order to be the strong energy that you are. And that is why boundaries are crucial. So how does one set a boundary? We like to tell Lisa it's the if-then statement. If this happens out there, then I'll do this. The if has to do with the external. And while this reality is all your own reality, it is all internal, there is a perceived bifurcation, there is a perceived separation that is intentional and purposeful and a part of the rules, so to speak, of the human experience. Though we will say those rules are shifting, but that is not the purpose of our conversation in this moment. And so as we play into the existing rules, the if has to do with what feels external. If a person, place, or thing does this or doesn't do this, then, and the then part has to do with your response. This is the part that in this human reality of duality you feel in control of. Now again, this is the secret. You are all of it. You are creating this realm. You exist in millions of timelines. We talked about this in Lisa's August energy update, that we're in the space of the convergence of the timelines, as in your own timelines collapsing into one another, meaning that you will have the capacity towards traits and skills and strengths that other versions of you in other realities of time and space are able to do, and it's your way to do it. It's your ability to connect to it now. So you might start having things that are new interests or capacities. Lisa has always wanted to sing, and she's been clearer and clearer in her capacity to be able to sing. And this is part of the reason why. There's a version of her that was an opera singer. That's new to me. Okay. Drop back in, Lisa. Drop back in. And so while this is happening at the same time, to meet you where you're at now, help yourself with boundaries. And we offer the ultimate boundary is, if it isn't calling to me, then I won't do it. So the ultimate boundary is the boundary that eliminates all other boundaries, all other rules you set up for yourself. It's the boundary that honors your intuition and your intuitive capacity. If my intuition tells me otherwise, then I will listen to my intuition. In this case, you're making the if and the then the intuition. If my intuition tells me, which implies there's the intuitive you and there's the you being told. So you've separated yourself from your intuition in that part, but it's okay because you reconnect to it. In the then, I will follow my intuition. And so what we invite for you to do in order to be the strongest energy in the room is think of if-then statements that will help you to live more in your light. If I'm with my family member, whoever that is, and they insult me, or they say something that feels like an insult, then I will say, ouch, that hurt. I will honor that it hurt, and I won't try to laugh it off. I will be real. Not for them to see me, but for me to see me. If, for whatever reason, something feels off, then I won't move forward, even if I said I would. We have an example to share here from Lisa's life. When she was buying one of the houses that she bought, that she no longer owns, she was introduced to a realtor. And she met with this realtor and with her husband. And this realtor was quite pleasant, charming, you could say. Said all the right things, laughed at all the right places, stood in the most confident of ways. But something felt off to Lisa. Now, Lisa was not the strongest energy in the room. This realtor was. This realtor was consistent in their energetic output, whereas Lisa was faltering. She was faltering in her own belief of her own ability to perceive this situation. Now, being the strongest energy doesn't mean you never doubt, but it means you never dismiss your own intuition. You don't question your truth by saying, but maybe I'm just making this up, but maybe no. Everything is made up. It's all in your imagination. It's all a manifestation. So there is no such thing as making it up or everything is made up. Whichever way you want to see it, the truth is the same. Honor the congruence. Honor what you hear. That is you. Don't try to figure out, is this my ego or my soul? Don't try to separate yourself from yourself in order to understand yourself. It's all you. So if you're being brought to something feels off. Ask yourself, okay, what would be in the light? What feels closest to the light? Or what feels most expansive? What move would be most expansive for me in this moment? Now, in this example we're giving you from Lisa's life, she did not ask herself that question, and that's okay because it's given her a learning opportunity. Instead, she thought, you know what? I'm probably just being triggered by his confidence because I don't feel confident. So instead of her listening to herself and the thing that felt off, She said she was the one that was off, not the situation, not the realtor's energy. And so she moved forward with working with that realtor. And she has never had a worse experience working with the realtor, and she's worked with many. This realtor was very kind-hearted and very desiring, but it came from this place of seeking approval. And so the realtor would lie. The realtor would say they would do things and not do them over and over and over again. Promises were made that were never kept. And Lisa kept giving them another opportunity, another opportunity, another opportunity. There was no follow-up and there was no follow-through. Now, Lisa had opportunities later on to fire the realtor and did not take them. Wanted to give him a chance because she saw his heart was in the right place, and that is the truth. He truly did want to do right by Lisa and her husband. But that desire was so strong that he was willing to compromise the actual truth and would lie and say things in order to get Lisa and her husband off his back, in order to continue the harmony. And also, this individual was dealing with their own mental capacities that Lisa was not aware of. And we are not going to share them here, for it is not part of the point. What we want to say is, even though the realtor was doing the best they could, it's not that we're making the realtor the villain. It's that it was not in alignment for Lisa. She could sense that something felt off in the energy field. But instead of thinking that that meant the energy field was off, she assumed she was off. That was her compromising her own knowing. And Lisa often wonders, but how do I know if it's my knowing or my ego? And we say to her, don't ask that question anymore. That question does not set you up to get an answer that's helpful. That question sets you up to dissect yourself. You're putting yourself on the operating table and pulling it apart. You're pulling apart your own self in order to see yourself. And it's excruciating. Trust what comes up. Now we hear Lisa, even in this moment, wants to protest this. But what if what comes up isn't good? What if what comes up feels off and wrong? And we want her to know. Everything is brought up to be brought to the light. So if it doesn't already feel in the light, there's a version of it that can be of the light. When Lisa's son cries, and she's in a stable place, Lisa responds with, what do you need? Because she knows it's not that he just wants to be upset. It's that he's using his cry as a means to get back in alignment, to transmute whatever's going on and to seek some support. And so, if you hear something that you bring up to yourself that doesn't feel of the light, instead of saying, oh, no, that's not okay, this is what happens when we deny our own shadow, say, how can I help? What do you need? What feels expansive to you? What would be a step towards what you're seeking? This is how you be the strongest energy of the room, is you don't deny any part of yourself. And that's why when you live from self-approval, you are the strongest energy in the room. They circle in on each other. When you're the strongest energy of the room, it represents your self-approval. And when you self-approve, it's easier to be the strongest energy of the room because you're not denying anything. You're playing the note. There's no dampening effect. There's no holding back. You're allowing yourself to be. And so we want you, listening on this, to be the strongest energy of the room means to create boundaries. And those boundaries, and we said the ultimate boundary is the idea of if this doesn't feel aligned, or if my intuition says otherwise, then I will follow my call. Then I will follow what I say. We find this to be the only boundary that's truly needed. Though sometimes people will set other boundaries and things like, if you insult me, then I will hang up the phone. If you ask me to work late, then I'll come in later the next day. Whatever it might be. But it can be kind of tedious and exhausting because what can happen is you feel like you have to set up a million boundaries to be proactively preventative and aware of whatever situation could come up. And that's a lot for one being to need to hold. And so that's why the ultimate boundary is just the if-then of your own intuitive light. So that step and the other step we offer to you to be the strongest energy of the room, which we know in the phrasing implies that you're stronger than another. But what we're saying truly is not that you're stronger than another person, but that your energy of light alignment is stronger than your energy of discord. You're highlighting your truth, your light, your congruence, not your disharmony or discord. And sometimes that disharmony and discord is projected by what you witness in another. And so it can feel like you've set a boundary against another, or that we're saying you're stronger than another. But the truth is there's no other. There's just your energy feeling around the other energy around you. And again, there's no other. So it's all the same energy field. So when you're the strongest energy of the room, that phrasing works from a human level. What we're really saying is you're creating harmony within that energy field that is closest to you in this existence of time and space, and it will ripple out to help neutralize and eventually create harmony within the energies around you. And this is why the law of attraction exists and is an actual thing and not just an idea, though everything is an idea in itself. Because what you're doing is you're being in alignment to something. You're always aligning to something. It's just, are you aligning to harmony or disharmony? Are you aligning to the light or the perceived lack of the light? Are you aligning to your eyes being open or your eyes being closed? And then whatever you align to is what's magnified. That's the energy that's emitted. That's the energy you create. And so you attract is one way to put it at the human level. It's like you're bringing something to you. But at another level, it's that your force field created it. Your force field created the consistency with whatever your force field is. And so if your force field's aligning to disharmony, eventually the disharmony will become harmony. Because if you keep going right, eventually you go all the way around and you'll be going what you would have called left earlier. The up becomes down and down becomes up. There is no directionality in a one-way street here. Everything is a circle in a way. That circle of life, that infinity symbol, that looping mechanism. And so even the disharmony alignment can create harmony eventually, but it is not the quickest, swiftest way in this human physical reality. You can be the strength by harmonizing to the light, and you can help yourself do that with the boundary. You also can help yourself do that by allowing yourself to sit and stand as you would if you felt in your light. This is a game of play. It does not require you to be in the light. Wink, 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 you are in the light always, but it does not require you to know you're in the light. It requires you to know, if I were feeling in the light, how would I sit? You know. It's the same thing everyone talks about. It's that Superman or Superwoman or Superperson pose. You're in your light, you're in your truth, you feel strong, you feel powerful, you feel open. Louise Hay said, I'm open to receiving. I'm open to receiving. This open mechanism, it's not open in the sense of pummel me with your thoughts and ideas and opinions. No, it's I'm open to the light because I am the light. There's a strength in the chest being put out and the arms wide open and the looking up because the light of the sun is up and it makes you feel in the light because you are the light. So why sun gazing can actually be quite helpful with your eyes closed to protect your retinals. Or like this, it's away. Because behind the clouds, there's always the sun. Even in the darkness, there is the sun. We can allow ourselves to be in the light. We can be that strongest energy. Other things we will go through in future videos about ways to help clear the porousness, because it's not that you need to close the pores, though we often will use that analogy because it creates a time effect, causal point, a response mechanism, which is helpful in this physical realm because that's often the way that your physics works. And so we'll talk about ways to do that in future videos. But for now, remember, to be the strongest energy in the room is to create harmony with the light. You can do that with boundaries. This is that Band-Aid, but it can be a helpful way to help your energy field heal. In the meantime, notice, Remember and sit and stand in the way you would if you already knew you were in the light. In any moment where you feel weak, that's your reminder. So this also means notice what it feels like to feel weak so that you can change it, so that you can move out of it. Lisa's often like this. It's going like this. This is how we get in the light. This is how we be the strongest energy in the room, and it will fuel and foster future self-approval. It's a representation of self-approval. When you're in your truth, in your alignment of yourself. And for that, we are complete.